Faith, profits, and survival. Those are the stakes in the small town of Superior, Arizona.
It's a years-long saga centered around one of the largest copper deposits in the world that happens to be on a sacred religious site for a native tribe. Fox 10's Lauren Clark tonight on why the outcome could forever shape the future of the state and the nation.
Copper is one of the 5 C's of the Arizona economy. It supports nearly 50,000 jobs statewide and pumps out millions of dollars into our economy. That mineral is at the heart of this debate. It started 10 years ago when company Resolution Copper introduced plans for a proposed mine in an area known as Oak Flat outside of Superior. But a nonprofit called Apache Stronghold contends the land is sacred for Indigenous ceremonies. The debate has sparked a years-long feud, carrying into the halls of Congress, to courthouses, and beyond.
About 60 miles east of Phoenix, there's an old high school, a small town hall where the mayor has deep roots.
I love our beautiful natural surroundings. I love that my family's been here for 5 generations.
And a handful of old buildings splattered with murals. Superior is mining country. Or rather, was mining country.
It's just like generation after generation of people that have just lived here for a long time.
And those generations are customers of Tony Fash's Silver King Smokehouse. His business is in the heart of downtown.
More people being able to come out here and increase and improve Superior and kind of, you know, breathe that extra little bit of life into it and bring Main Street and everything that Superior has to offer back to life would be amazing.
Something.
There's nobody else investing in this area of rural Arizona, but we want to.
One company envisions for the town of just 3,200 people and a 19.5% poverty rate.
I really think this is the type of project that can really make a generational difference in rural Arizona.
Vicki Pesce is the president and general manager of Resolution Copper, which employs 300 people here. But near their current site lays an opportunity she says could not only transform this area, but the nation.
Trying to find a deposit like this is truly like looking for a needle in a haystack.
An estimated 2 billion tons of copper. Enough, says Pesce, to satisfy 25% of the United States copper demand.
Copper is important because it is the metal of electrification. All the energy transition technologies require copper.
Resolution Copper expects this to create thousands of jobs, pumping a whopping $1 billion into the Arizona economy annually for 60-plus years.
Copper deposits like this just don't exist. You just don't come by them very easily. They are where they are.
But where they are is the problem.
If this project does go through and it's destroyed, it's one of the greatest sins of the world.
Wensler Nosey Sr. is the former chairman of the San Carlos Apache tribe. He says this land of Oak Flat is sacred.
Just feeling where God touched the earth.
Integral to coming-of-age ceremonies. Similar in sanctity, he says, to the Wailing Wall or St. Peter's.
This is that particular place, you know, that reminds us of all creations and how we all are intertwined.
And now he fears this holy place might be gone forever.
It's no longer a native fight, you know, it's an American issue.
One that is at the heart of an ongoing court battle. Citing religious rights, other religious leaders have written court briefs in support. Then there's environmental concerns.
Arizona accommodates mining with unlimited water, but we're at that point that we have to adjust, and if we don't adjust, then the future for the children of Arizona and private ownership cities, you know, are going to be hit a lot worse than the reservation.
You know, once in production, we'll be the most efficient water user of all mines in Arizona. We know that's still not good enough, and we're still looking for ways that we can continue to drop it.
And the impact on the Oak Flat campgrounds.
The animals are going to leave. The trees are going to die. All this that gives life is going to be gone.
It's not an open pit mine, which means there won't be waste rock dumps. It'll be an underground mine. It is located about 5,000 to 7,000 feet below the surface. There'll be far less footprint, and you really won't see a whole lot on the surface. There's no immediate harm or no immediate impact. And we have a long time ahead of us to continue that dialogue, collect more data, and see if there's more ways that we can avoid and minimize.
The proposed project sparking a kind of tug-of-war of values: religion, money, the environment, secure jobs, and real people with real convictions caught in the middle.
We have urgent needs around the green economy and being able to produce the electrical vehicles, to have more solar technologies. So we have to get to work on this.
People like Mayor Mila.
We've also had to plan for our future, and that is making sure that we had a diversified economy.
Who say the stakes are high.
The decisions we make today are going to impact what happens in Superior 100 years from now.
And what she feels the people in her town need is a steady, reliable income.
That's the lifeblood of our community, that those traditions continue because we have the jobs that families can live off of.
But with court challenges, federal government delays, everyone is in limbo.
There's 3,200 people that live in Superior that wait for this elephant to determine what's going to happen.
Waiting and wondering how to balance the seemingly unbalanceable and how it'll all be decided.
The wait could very well continue for months ahead. The Oak Flack mine remains on hold after the federal government withdrew a federal review to consult further with tribes and others. In March, attorneys representing Apache Stronghold argued to a full panel of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, stating destroying Oak Flack would prevent Native American groups from practicing their religion. A decision is expected in the upcoming months. Reporting in the studio, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.